thanks so much for watching. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm doing a DIY bride video, and I'm really excited about this one because it's all about flowers. If you can't tell already, I love flowers. I always have, so I've really been looking forward to sharing this video with you guys. In today's video, I'm showing you how to make a floral arrangement as well as a flower wall. It definitely isn't as hard as you think it is, and it's a lot of fun too, so I'm just going to jump right in and get started. So obviously for this video, I just did one arrangement, so I picked up flowers from Trader Joe's. They always have really awesome flowers, but for my wedding, I definitely plan on placing a bulk order at like a Sam's Club or a Costco, somewhere that has flowers you can order in advance. And then for like the specialized flowers that they don't really have, I will just place an order at a florist. So I definitely recommend doing the same thing. If you guys are planning on doing a lot of floral arrangements, it's definitely way cheaper that way, so that's why I'm doing it that way. I also wanted to let you guys know that if there's a flower that's either out of season or just really expensive and way out of the budget, definitely look for a silk version or like a fake version. And I picked some up from a Michael's and I put them in with the real flowers. I thought they looked awesome. Honestly, once it was all together, I couldn't even tell which ones were the fake ones, but I do want to say I think you really do get what you pay for when it comes to fake flowers. I really do recommend like a Michael's or a store like that and not the dollar store. I think the ones that are super cheap really do look fake, and I feel like it's way harder to play those off as real, so that's a tip for you guys. So the first thing you want to do is cut the stems, and obviously you want to cut them at an angle. When I cut them, I just cut them like 2 inches above the end of the stem, and then I knew some of them I would have to shorten again, but I obviously will always be able to make them shorter, but we can't make them longer, so definitely keep that in mind. So if you plan on making arrangements the day before, then you definitely want to make sure the flowers are not fully bloomed because obviously we want them to last as long as possible. So you also are going to need wet foam. Wet foam is for real flowers and the dry foam is for synthetic flowers. I obviously had a little bit of synthetic, but since almost all of the flowers were real, I went with the wet foam. The next thing I did was I measured the wet foam, and I did have to cut off a little bit. I recommend doing it over a trash can just because it is a little messy, and then I put water into the vase and then the foam in. The foam will float at first and then it sinks, and once it sinks then it's ready to go. So I just started with one size stem, and then I went to, I think I started with the medium size and then the small ones and then the large, but I would recommend just kind of working all over, doing a small one, a medium one, and then a long one, just because I felt like after a while it was hard to put the long ones in just because I couldn't see where there was space in the foam. And the foam definitely isn't forgiving. You really aren't supposed to take a stem out once you put it in because that hole will always be there, but I did that a couple times. Obviously, if you do it a couple times, it really isn't a big deal, but I definitely recommend trying to avoid that just because it's kind of like a waste of space at that point, and it's just hard to get something else to stay in that same spot. So I also used a lot of eucalyptus. It's something that is just all over San Francisco and it smells amazing. Plus, I think it is so beautiful. I definitely plan on having a lot of that at our wedding. It just isn't too fragrant, but I definitely will notice it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I just think it's so beautiful and it's one of my favorite parts of floral arrangements. I just always want to have one with some eucalyptus in it. So if you guys are wondering where I got the inspiration for this arrangement, then check out Farm Girl Flowers on Instagram. I will put a link down below, but they have like the coolest flowers ever. I'm always on their Instagram. I think it's just 100% like my style, so I'm always on there, and I definitely want to recreate some of their styles. I just think it's super cool, so definitely check it out if you guys are planning on doing some arrangements for yourself. I also want to say, if you are making some arrangements for your wedding, you don't have to do all of them. If you want to work with a florist and have them do some, and then if you want to do some yourself to save money, or if you just really like doing it like I do, then that's definitely an option. I don't want anyone to think they have to do like all of them if they don't want to, but I plan on doing a lot of them for sure just because I really enjoy this, and even if it isn't as like professionally done, I still think it's fun. So the next thing I want to talk about is the flower wall, and I just think this is the coolest thing ever. I really like it, and it turned out really awesome. So for today's video, I used real flowers, but I'm thinking for my wedding when I do this, I probably will use fake flowers just because I'm sure a lot of people will be touching it, and obviously when you handle flowers a lot, they just fall apart. So I'm just a little worried about that, and I think fake flowers will just be safer for that reason. The first thing I did was I measured out a few feet of the fishing line, and then you just want to tie a few knots at the end. And then you want to go to the other side where there isn't a knot, and you just fish that through or feed that through the end of the needle like a hand sewing needle. Make sure you don't tie any knots or anything like that. Just do like a few inches on one side and then the rest on the other. And then just feed a flower into the needle. Start from the very bottom of the flower and work your way up, and then just slide it all the way down to where the knot is. And then about 6 inches to 1.5 feet, I just did it sort of random. From the last one, I would tie a few knots again. When I say tie a few knots, I mean like all of them on top of each other, so it's a larger knot. That way the flower won't fall or anything like that. And I just kept doing the same thing a bunch of different times. I would do about 3 on each piece of fishing line, and then of course you want to leave some room at the top so you can secure it onto something. Since our wedding is outside, I plan on doing this on like a tree or something. I saw a really cool picture where someone did that at their wedding, so that's what I plan on doing. But if you guys are doing this inside, I recommend that you get like one of those really long skinny wooden rods from like a Home Depot or something like that. And if you want to paint it, of course you can paint it, and then you can just make a loop at the end of the fishing line and just slide all of them on when you set it up. So this honestly is really simple, and I think it looks amazing. When you take photos, you obviously won't be able to see the fishing line, so it just seems like flowers are floating in the air. So I think it's really cool, and I think it will be awesome for us, obviously, with our photographer, but also just for wedding guests when they want to take, you know, pictures with each other and stuff. So I'm really excited about that, and I really hope our wedding guests enjoy it as much as I will. So that is everything for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and that you got some inspiration from this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I also will have a link in the description box for all the videos in this series if you guys haven't seen all of them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!